Hi, this is the help video for Access Chapter 10. And so this chapter is all about working with reports. And so one of the nice things about this is that much of the techniques and concepts that we learned last chapter about forms can translate to reports. And so basically reports are ways for you to report out in an organized fashion data, right? And reports can be built on forms. I'm sorry, that's wrong. Reports can be built on tables or queries. And there's basically 4 different views that you have in a report. So report view, which would be like the actual report is being run. Continuous page layout. Print preview will show a printed page. Layout view shows the report but you can change the layout. And then of course design view shows the layout but not the data. So we're going to go ahead and I have the instructions here on the left. We've already opened my file. We're going to go ahead and start with step number 2 here. Reports have grouping features. So just like forms, you have, of course, headers and footers. But in reports, you have report headers and report footers, which appear at the first page and last page of the report and nowhere else. The report footers are often used for putting in calculations of grand totals. That would be for the entire report. You also have page headers and page footers, and those would be things that appear at the top and bottom of every page. Oftentimes these are the headings for the columns would be like in the page header, and then at the bottom you might often have a report date, a page number, like 2 of 10, etc. like that. So then you have grouping headings and footers. And so groups are how you organize the data. For example, let's say you have a report, your data has budget information, and there's a division code and a department code. So departments belong to certain divisions. That division and department could be groupings. So you could have a group header for the division, which would maybe have like the division name, and then the footer would have totals for that division. And then within that, you could have another layer of grouping. For example, each department, let's say you have 5 departments in that division. You'd have Department 1 heading, says the name, whatever information, and then it has its own footer, which would have like totals for that department. Next department, all within that division. And then you have detail lines, which for every detail line, that whole space repeats for each record. All right, so that's kind of an overview of grouping. And we're going to go ahead and start with number 2 here. Use the report wizard to create a report to list all employees. All right, so we want table employee and table member lesson. Let's see, table member and table member lesson. Yeah, that's what I said. So, and fee. Okay, so really we only have 3 tables here: employee, member lessons, and member, but we're going to pull information from table member lessons in 2 different, so we're going to have to switch back and forth. All right, so we're going to begin this with a wizard. And I always start, well, I shouldn't say always, but almost always I start with the report wizard, because the wizard does so many things for you that are just kind of painful to do manually. And if they're going to, if the wizard's going to do it, you might as well make use of it. So we're going to do table employee first, and we want last name and first name. right? Last name and first name. Then we're going to switch over here to table member lesson, and we're going to pull schedule date. Then we're going to switch to table member, and we want last name, first name. And then we're going to switch back to member lesson and pick fee. Okay, and the reason we did that is we want to put them over. That's how they're going to appear across the line. So let's go ahead and do next. All right, accept the viewing by table employee. Good, so go ahead and do next. Sort in ascending by. Let's see. Sort ascending, summary options. Okay, so no grouping, so we're going to go to next. Sort by schedule date, last name, first name. We're going to do summary options. We want a sum on the fee, so we're going to do OK. Next, it says accept the default layout and orientation. So we're just going to next, and we're going to name this. So this is going to be RPT employee lessons. Finish. It's going to go into print preview, and you can see we have some work to do. I'm going to go ahead and close print preview. It's going to bring us to design view. They want us to switch to layout view and change the width of the fee, subtotal, and grand total fields to 0.7. So let's select all of those. So fee, subtotal, and then all the way at the bottom is the grand total. And for me to select those, I just used my shift key and I went down and selected all of those. I can go to design, property sheet, and width right now is 0.29. We want to switch that to 0.7. It's much simpler. And then you notice it's off the screen. So I'm going to go ahead and put it onto the report. So all I did there was use my left arrow key just to move it over, and this is the advantage of doing it in layout. You know exactly when you've hit the edge and you're good. We're going to go ahead and save that. We're done with step 2. Let's switch over to design view, because some of this stuff is so much easier to do in design view. Edit the title. So we're going to change this, and it's going to be employee lessons, and then delete the control that begins with summary. So right there, I have my orange box around it. I'm going to delete it. So that's gone. Let's go ahead and look at number 4. When a control is selected, the control is outlined in orange. Okay, there are 8 boxes called handles on the outline. The large gray handle in the top left corner is called the move handle. That's this little box right there. So move the sum label, so right there, sum label, so that the left edge lines up with the 5-inch mark on the horizontal ruler. So rather than fudging with it, here's what I do. I go to design, property sheet, and right here where it says left and it's currently at 0.25, I just type 5. And then I don't have to worry about it. And then look, it's snapped right to that 5-inch. And then change the text of that label. So I'm going to go to all, caption. It says sum right now. I'm going to change that to total fees. And then I'm going to have to make it wider. So let's make the width. Let's see. Let's do a 1 and see how it goes. A little bit too much. 0.75. We really just want to be able to see the whole word. So, alrighty. We're going to close up number 4. We're done with that. So, like fields on a form, every field on a report has characteristics and properties. The current The report currently displays the name of each member for each lesson that have been scheduled. Modifying the hide duplicate property can improve the readability. So let's look at this. So look, Barker, 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 right? So you have that name repeated, but we really only want to see the first one. So if we come over here, we're going to modify the last name and first name fields. So I'm going to click on in the details section. See, this is what repeats for every record. Last name, we want to find the property that says hide duplicates. So it's in the format almost to the bottom, right here where it says hide duplicates. We're going to make that a yes. I'm going to click over onto the first name field and do the same thing, yes. So now watch when I run it. I only get the name the first time for that employee's lessons. This member is only going to repeat once. I'm going to go ahead and hit save and close, and we're done with step 5, and I'm going to stop the movie at this point. We'll pick up the next movie at step 6. Thank you.